Hey, be the best on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Be the best.
Come on now. Talk your position to your partner, bro.
I think it's so hard to put the finger on one thing, but the more you lose, the harder it gets, And with the injuries, you put in the injuries with that, so some of our leaders on this team went down, and it's harder to put the team back on track,
Is it tough when you lose a strong leadership core? In one season, you lost a lot, and I'm not even talking about the talent. I'm talking about guys, Servi, Ellingston, guys who've been here for a few years. You lost an awful lot of those guys. Is it tough to replace that veteran core and with that strong leadership value?
It is, but it's also possible to overcome it. And what was, I think, hard for us is that sudden change at the offensive coordinator position right before the season. So that's hard to overcome. When you lose your leaders on offense, and then you also lose the guys that was directing them. That's a little harder, but so it's possible to do it, but when you combine everything that happened this season, it just made it really hard.
It's defensively, maybe the numbers lie a bit, but the offensive stats are horrible. I mean, that goes without saying, but defensive stats aren't that good either. Is that a byproduct maybe as well of being on the field an awful lot? Like, just can stats lie a little bit? Or has the defense been not very good?
I just think it shouldn't be. If it is because of that, it shouldn't be. I mean, our job is to play regardless of what the offensive does. We got to get our stops, and we all got to look at ourselves in the mirror and do better next year.
Just from a loving the game and a passion for the game, it really gets challenged when things aren't going well. And were you disappointed in maybe how, not individual players, but as a team responded to critical situations where there was an opportunity to turn the season around, or let's pick up this win and build some momentum, and it just didn't seem like it was there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think the problem is we almost waited always on that one game that's going to turn thing around, and it never happened. I think at one point we was looking, okay, we got a easier stretch of the season coming. We're going to play BC and Toronto, that's been having a rough year as well. And we're like, oh, we're going to grab one of these and things are going to get going. But in football, you cannot do that. And I'm not pointing anybody. I'm not saying the coaches put us in that mindset or anybody in our locker room. But when you look back at it, it almost feels that way, where we should have been, no, we could win against any opponent in this league. It could have been, we beat Calgary early in the season, we beat Sask, and we could have done that against any team, and it just never happened.
You were here in 2014. Mm-hmm. An expansion team, the expectations from the fan base, expectations weren't much. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was a team built off a few draft picks and a lot of guys out of the expansion draft. And the team won 2 games. But at least you were competitive.
Yeah.
Then you went on and you had the success. Early 15, Grey Cup appearance. 16, you won the Grey Cup. 17 playoffs. 18 back in the Grey Cup. It's got to really, I don't know, compare it to 2014. Is this team better than the 2014 team?
Well, our record is pretty much the same, so I don't know which one was better, but it feels different right now than it felt in 2014. Even though our record wasn't,
expect to lose in 14. You had to be like, well, maybe we're not going to win.
I don't think we was expecting to lose because we were in every one of those games, as you said. But the thing is, we definitely were feeling week after week that we were building and climbing the ladder
in the right direction.
And this year, unfortunately, it didn't feel like that, especially winning the 2 first games of the season. It just felt like we went downhill from there. I don't have the exact explanation for that, but so it feels totally different than 2014. So you're right in that. It's not it's a different feeling, and it's been one of the tough part of my career so far to go through this year, but we still have a good locker room and good people in the coaches front office, so I'm sure we're gonna build back.
I've talked to you after games, though, and you genuinely care. I mean, you're pissed off after losses, at yourself, at the team. Mm-hmm. Not all players are like that. I'm not looking to single out players, but is there enough passion? Is there enough of that pissed off feeling after losses on this football team?
There's a lot of people in this organization that are pissed, but I'll be really honest with you there. We need more. We need more passion, as you say. We need this is unacceptable what happened this year, and there's a lot of people that feels that way. but it needs to be everyone. From the practice roster guy to the leader of this team, to the front office, the coaches, everyone needs to take every game like it's the most important game. And at times there was maybe a lack of that.
Was there a false sense of security, maybe because you had so much success that, hey, we'll turn it around? We're the Red Blacks. We've done it before. We're in the East. We don't have to be 14-4. As long as we get to the postseason, I mean, we've been there before, and we know that we can win in the postseason. Mm-hmm. Has that maybe haunted this team a bit?
That's a good thought. I don't see it that way exactly. I don't feel like we took anybody lightly. I would still go back to that thing that we, instead of being proactive, this is maybe where it's connecting. We waited on something to happen. So could it be that in the back of our minds we're like, it's not too late, we can turn things around, it's not too late, and now all of a sudden it's too late. But I still feel like the preparation every week was to win football games. So I don't know exactly what we could have done different, but there was a little bit of that waiting mindset that, I don't know, looking back at it now, I see it more.